Welcome back everyone to another Weather at a Glance video. In today's forecast, we are going to be going over Major Hurricane Ida, which is going to be making landfall on New Orleans tomorrow at 6 p.m. Central Daylight Time. All coming up in just a bit. Alright, on our first slide, we're going to be taking a look at the HRRR composite reflectivity, and here this is showing you how heavy the precipitation will be moving into your area. So as you can see, we do have that eye wall there with this system, and when it makes landfall, it's expected to be a Category 3 hurricane, just loaded down from a Category 4 hurricane. So here you can see that we are kind of weakening just before landfall, but a Category 3 hurricane is still a major hurricane, and that is something that we're going to be wanting to keep a look out for as this makes landfall, as 120 mile per hour wind gusts plus are expected. And as you can see here, we have a lot of heavy rain moving into the area, especially with some of those upper bands that are moving up into Alabama and Mississippi. So Alabama and Mississippi aren't out of this either. We do see some of those heavier bands moving up there just on the outskirts of the storm as well. So there's a lot to this storm just besides the main center of low pressure as well. We do see a wide area of storm systems moving and following the course of this hurricane as well. So there's going to be a lot of rain, a lot of precipitation, and some potential flooding with the majority of the southeastern United States in the path of this storm. So we're talking about Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Arkansas, and even western portions of Tennessee. All right, moving on to our next slide, we're taking a look at the 850 millibar height and wind with the HRRR forecast model. And here you can see that this is just a little bit above the surface, and we can see that we do have 80 plus knot winds. So we're looking at about 90 or so mile per hour wind gusts, and as this makes landfall, we are looking at about 120 mile per hour wind gusts as well. Sustained winds of about 70 to 80 miles per hour with gusts up to, as we said, 120 plus miles per hour. So some areas might even see 130 mile per hour wind gusts. So there is going to be a very strong area of damaging winds just south of New Orleans and through the New Orleans area on the eastern side of the storm. That is where we're going to be seeing a lot of this extensive wind damage that is going to be coming from this storm. So this is a very serious storm, and if you are getting evacuation notices, you need to take those seriously because this is going to be a life-threatening storm. This is not a joke. You need to be taking this seriously. This is a very dangerous storm, and we're going to be experiencing wind damage likely all the way up into southern Mississippi. So there's a wide area that you're going to have to pay attention with wind damage, and there's going to be a lot of widespread wind damage with this storm. The storm is a very dangerous storm, so make sure that you are paying attention to those evacuation notices. If you receive one, get out of there now so that you are not leaving last minute. All right, moving on to our HRRR total accumulated rainfall. This is what we're looking at for the totals of rainfall. The most extensive rainfall is expected near a town called Slidell, Louisiana, which is going to have 16.1 inches forecasted. So that is a lot of extensive rainfall, and the highest storm surge is expected for areas around there too. So Slidell, Louisiana is going to be likely submerged underwater. This is not a joke, and this is a very dangerous situation. I wouldn't be telling you this if this were not true. I'm not going to hype this up. This is a very dangerous situation for areas near Slidell and even around the New Orleans area. So you're going to want to be paying attention to this very well. You're going to want to be following your local authorities. Everything that they say, you're going to have to pay very close attention to. If they tell you to evacuate, you need to evacuate. I'm going to keep saying that over and over again because that is, I can't relay that enough. You need to be evacuated if you are told to. So here you can see, even in the New Orleans area, we have about 6.6 inches forecasted. That could be all the way up to 10 inches, even if you drive a couple miles east. So we have a widespread area all the way up into southern Mississippi of about 5 to 6 inches of rainfall. So we have a lot of rainfall coming in, and to some of those lower portions of Mississippi near the Gulf of Mexico, or sorry, Louisiana, some of those lower portions of Louisiana, as far as south in Louisiana, the southernmost portions of Louisiana, are expecting extensive flooding and rainfall damage. So we have a lot of flooding. By rainfall damage, I mean a lot of flooding. We are expecting a lot of storm surge, which we're going to get into here in just a second. So please take this very seriously. Flooding is going to be the main concern here, especially with damaging wind gusts. There's a lot to go into with this storm. All right, here is the National Weather Service experimental peak storm surge forecast. And here you can see that this is what the National Weather Service is really calling for with the storm surge. So over by the Sabine Pass in Louisiana, we are expecting about 1 to 3 feet of storm surge. Now, as we get to Pecan Island, we get to about 3 to 5 foot storm surge, and Intracoastal City is expecting about 5 to 6 feet of storm surge. Then we get about to Morgan City, Louisiana, and that's where we get to that 6 to 9 foot storm surge. And our highest storm surge is expected between Morgan City and the mouth of the Mississippi River. That is going to be about 10 to 15 foot storm surge. So areas around there need to take that very seriously because we do have extensive flooding expected there, especially with all the heavy rainfall totals of about 10 inches there for that 10 to foot region of storm surge. So as we move into the New Orleans area, just east of New Orleans, we're expecting 7 to 11 foot storm surge. And then as we move into Mississippi, Ocean Springs, Mississippi, 4 to 7 foot storm surge. And finally, near the Alabama-Florida border, we're expecting 2 to 4 foot storm surge. So there's a widespread area of a lot of high storm surge, and you're going to be taking this very seriously. A couple bays to point out. We have Lake Pontchartrain, which is expecting about 5 to 8 foot storm surge, and Lake Maurepas, which is expecting 4 to 6 foot storm surge, and Vermilion Bay is expecting 6 to 9 foot storm surge. So there's a lot of storm surge here. Make sure you're paying very close attention to those evacuation notices if they call you to evacuate your area. All right, here's the National Weather Service Hurricane Center outlook for this storm. This is the cone forecast, and as you can see, about later this evening we are going to reach the major category 3 hurricane phase. So anything category 3 and up is considered a major hurricane. So as you can see, upon landfall, we are expecting category 3 strength. This is going to weaken from a category 4 down to a category 3 forecasted. Before it makes landfall, it's supposed to weaken just down to a category 3, but that is still going to lead to extensive damage to the coastal cities. So you need to take this very seriously. It's still going to be a major hurricane when it makes landfall as a category 3. Then as it reaches central Louisiana, it's still going to be a hurricane. Then by 1 p.m. Monday, we get to about a tropical storm up in northeastern Louisiana. 1 a.m. Tuesday, we get to Mississippi, north central Mississippi, and that's going to be a tropical depression. And finally, we get to 1 p.m. Tuesday in west central Tennessee, and that's going to be a tropical depression, and that's kind of where it ends all of its wind and flooding damage. And then it's going to head up into the Ohio Valley area, and that's going to lead to some storminess as well, but nothing too extensive or severe. All right, I want to thank you all for watching today's forecast. Big thanks to today's sources, Pivotal Weather, where all the forecast models seen in today's video came from, and the National Hurricane Center, where all those graphical outlooks came from. I would ask you to consider subscribing for more U.S. forecasts free of charge, and consider following the Weather Glance official Facebook page for more inside information and complimentary personal forecasts when you message me on my Facebook page. Again, I want to thank you all for watching, and stay safe throughout this storm.